What's up, guys? It is a beautiful Thursday here in the lovely state of Michigan. It is going to be a Four-Wheel Friday episode, and I understand that it's Thursday, but I do have some things that I do need to get done tomorrow, and I'm not really sure if I'd be able to film this episode tomorrow. So we're going to do it a day ahead of time, be a little proactive with it, especially because there's a few things I wanted to touch on that some people wanted kind of like an update on. So let's get right at it. So thing number one, someone had commented on my buying a 2019 Ram, saying, you know, hey, kind of do a review of it. How do you like it? Blah blah blah. And I appreciate the comment. I really do. Unfortunately, I did not get the truck, and I replied letting them know that I would address that in this video. So that's where we're gonna start today. So I didn't get a 2019 Dodge Ram. I did go test drive a few. I spent probably a month and a half looking for what fit. I was gonna get a Laramie because I wanted the screen and I wanted the roof, and the Bighorns had the stupid headlights on them that I don't like. So I was looking at Laramies, but then, you know, I'm at like 61 to 63,000 on the sticker, so it was more expensive than I really was okay with spending, I guess. Because let's be real, $60,000 for a truck is a lot of money, especially when it's not a diesel. Like if it was a diesel, it'd be different. You know, if it had a Cummins in it and could tow 17,000 pounds, okay, 60, you know, almost 65 grand, I get it. But it's a 1500, not a diesel in it, and they want 63,000. So I was having a really hard time, you know, really wrapping my head around it, beyond the fact that I couldn't find one. Like, I couldn't find one with all the options that I wanted in it. I would have to give up at least 3. You know, obviously it would be, you know, these 3 on this one, those 3 on this one, these 3 on that one. But it was a constant. Like, I was constantly having to give something up. And pretty much none of them had the electric 48-volt system in it yet. So I kind of really wanted that because I wanted to see how well it worked, or if it was a piece of garbage, you know, kind of guinea pig it. Even though I know that's a horrible idea, but I was leasing the truck, so if it was a bag of dicks, I just give it back. You know, it's not a big deal. I would never buy that truck because God only knows how many issues are going to come out, because it's brand new. I mean, it's completely redesigned. They got a bunch of brand new stuff in it. Stuff's going to go wrong. So, you know, I'd rather them work the kinks out first, and then, you know, 2 years down the road after the lease is done, if it treated me good the whole time, then yeah, maybe I'd buy it. Or if it was a bag of dicks, I'd just give it back. I don't have to worry about selling it, don't got to worry about depreciation. I just give it back and get a new one. But I did end up looking into the Bighorns, and I did find a Bighorn that I really liked. Obviously, it didn't have quite a few options in it that I wanted, but it did have a lot of options that I did want. It did have the tow package. It had the 392 rear end. It had the panoramic sunroof. You know, all black seats. You know, I kind of really wanted leather because I have kids, but, you know, they're all black seats, so that makes me feel better than the gray seats that I have. The problem is with the gray seats is, you know, if they spill something, like, you see that stain pretty good. You know, black seats are probably not going to see it. So I was okay with the black seats, and they're really comfortable seats, and they look great. I really like the way they designed it with stitching and all that stuff. It looked fantastic. Really love the interior of that truck. But I drove it, and when I got back to the dealership, you know, we went over the price, everything like that, the lease, and the price was fine. I was perfectly okay with the lease price and the out-of-pocket and all that stuff. Everything was fine in that regard, until we got down to what I'm going to do with my truck. So the trade-in that they want to do on my truck was like $14,000. Now, average retail with the options that I have and the miles that I have on my truck is $24,500, and they wanted to give me $14,000. So he's like, oh, let me talk to my manager, you know, if we can make this happen or make this work, maybe we can give you a little bit more money. Well, he comes back at $16,500. Okay, you came up a little bit, but we were 10 grand out here, and you're only making up like $2,500. You know, it's $7,500. I mean, I still owe on this truck, obviously. So, you know, no, I'm not taking a $7,500 hit to buy a, you know, that Bighorn that I test drove that I really, really liked was stickered at $53,000. It's like, I'm not losing $7,500 to buy a $50,000 truck from you. Like, that's just not going to happen. And realistically, the only thing that truck had that this truck does not have was a sunroof and the 392 rear end. You know, this truck has cloth seats, that truck has cloth seats. I got an 8-inch U-Connect, that had an 8-inch U-Connect. You know, I have navigation on mine, that had navigation. Trailer brake in this, trailer brake in that. Towing package, towing package. So, you know, that's the thing. You know, I started looking at it, I'm like, apples to apples here. You know, I owe in the low 20s on my truck, and it's paid off. It's done. Next year, this truck will be paid off. I'm just going to go ahead and throw the money at it, get it paid off, and it'll be done. And I won't owe anything on it, and it'll be under 100,000 miles, which is really difficult to do with trucks these days. But at any rate, they tried weaseling out of it a little bit, or trying to, you know, make it work a little bit. Now, for those of you who have bought new cars, you already understand how it would work from that point. So if I were to give my truck to them as a trade-in, the gap between what I owed on it and what they wanted to give me, they could just put on the new loan, more than likely, which increases the payment, which means I owe them more money, blah, 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 whole 9 yards, and I'm just not going to do that. Like, that truck is cool, and it was a Bighorn with the better lights on it, that like headlights that don't look completely retarded. So that was good, but my whole thing with this is I can't justify spending 50. I think it's stickered at 53.5 is the sticker on that truck. I couldn't justify spending that kind of money, losing my ass on my truck, and then basically getting the same thing just new, and it looks different. Like, I love that truck, don't get me wrong. And if you want me to do like an honest opinion on how I feel about every aspect of that truck, we'll go through it really quick. For one, all the ones I looked at had a 5'7" bed. I really would rather have the full 6'4" bed, but the problem with that is the cab is 4 inches longer on the new truck, which means the wheelbase would be longer, and this has a 6'4" bed on it, and it's already pretty difficult to park in tight parking lots unless I can back in. If you have the backup camera, it's non-issue, but if you don't, like my truck currently doesn't, because I got to get the one wiring harness for it, and then it'll be working, which I'm going to work on that next week. At any rate, if you have the backup camera, it's non-issue because you can just back in. Doesn't matter how tight the parking lot is. It's pretty easy. But pulling straight in is just not going to happen. I mean, it's just your Austin Powers style trying to park, you know, with a 50-point turn. It's ridiculous. So with that truck, I was kind of worried about that. I was like, I wasn't really sure how I felt about that. And it looks great with a 5'7" bed. I mean, it looks more proportioned than this body style truck does. So I did like that. It did have the bed liner inside, just like I got in my truck. And I will say, if you're getting a Ram, if you're going to get a Ram, get the bed liner. It is amazing. It will save your bed, and it's totally worth the money to get that as an option on your truck straight from the factory. I'm not exactly 100% sure what type of liner that the spray-in liner that they use, but it is really good quality. It really is. So do yourself a favor, get that option on your truck. Trust me on this. Now, as it pertains to the room inside the truck, there is a ton of room in this truck. That when they added 4 inches to the back seat, it is ridiculously large in the back seat now. It's just stupid how much space is back there. And it's really great. If you have, you know, for me and the kids, and then I got my dogs, you know, it's kind of cramped when I have all 3 of my kids in the back and both my dogs. It's just a lab and a Chihuahua. So it's, you know, Chihuahua just stays up with me usually, but the lab, you know, she has a hard time with some of the kids' stuff back there on the floor, and then her back there on the floor, and the, you know, the kids' legs hanging over the seat, blah, blah, blah. That truck would be such less of an issue. I mean, the floor space alone is just massive. So, and I love that the floor is completely flat and there's no tunnel. Like, that is just awesome. So, I really, really love that aspect of the truck as it pertains to how much room is in it. Now, the panoramic sunroof, see, I love sunroofs. I love having the roof being able to open. I hate convertibles because I think it's just too much, because you're only going to drop the top in the summer, and most days, especially here in Michigan during the summer, it is way too humid, way too hot to be sitting with the sun beating down on you and no cover. It's really miserable. That's why I hate convertibles. But I always want a sunroof, and that's one thing that this truck didn't have. That truck did have. That's kind of disappointing, but it's not like it's gonna make me buy that truck. But that panoramic sunroof is awesome. Just driving around for the short time that I did when I was kind of just driving around test driving it, I mean, having that open, and, you know, just like the light in the truck, I don't know, it was really nice having a glass roof in the truck. It made you feel a little bit more like luxurious. Like it was a little bit more of a luxury truck, I guess, for it not being a luxury truck. Now, like I said before, the base style headlight, I really don't like it. I hate it. You know, that circle, whatever design that they did, makes me think that it looks like a Volkswagen Beetle. And it makes the truck look so ugly. It is stupid how ugly that truck looks with that damn headlight on it. But in the Bighorn, you can get the premium light group, which gets you up into like the LED, I guess the LED one, or however they want to do it. Not the premium projector headlights that are like the little squares inside the headlight, but you get like an LED strip under the light. It makes the truck look a lot better. And that was one of the options on the truck. That was one of the critical options that I was looking for, because I was not getting a Bighorn with the stupid lights on it. And I think it looks great with you turn the parking lights on, and just turns on like part of the light. Fantastic, man. That truck looks mean. Now, driving and comfort. Now, I've already said the seats were amazingly comfortable. I love those seats in that truck. They're awesome. And don't get me wrong, the seats in my truck are really comfortable too. And I have, issues with my back sometimes, and I've never had a problem taking long drives in this truck, in this seat, and my back hurting for any reason, if that's any indication. So every other car, when I had my Chrysler 300, I used to have problems with my back being sore when I got out of it after driving for a long period of time. But, these seats are comfortable, but damn, them seats were awesome. I love the seats in the new truck. Even though they were cloth and they weren't the leather ones, they were still really, really comfortable. And, I think for a lot of people, that might actually be a huge selling point when they test drive it, is how comfortable that seat is. So, and I mean, it might just be me. It might just be me thinking that it's that comfortable, but if you haven't test drove a new Ram yet, just go and drive one. Even if you're kind of sort of considering it, not really serious about it, just go drive one. I like I definitely like the update to the Uconnect. I mean, it's a lot more reactive. I mean, it's not like mine is slow by any means, but the graphics and all that stuff are, it's newer, and it gives you that updated kind of feel. So I mean, it functions just like mine does. So there, a difference wise on like functionality, I didn't really feel like there was a whole lot of difference. It just looks a lot better, which was nice. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice. The nav had a few options that my nav doesn't have with what it can do. So, I mean, that doesn't really matter to me in any way. I just wanted the nav to tell me where I'm going, and some of those options were if you're actually looking at the screen, which I never do. So, you know, take that for what it is, I guess. I mean, if you use navigation consistently all the time and stuff like that, there are some new features that I've seen in the updated Uconnect systems opposed to my 2014 that are some like newer features that are kind of cool. And if you use nav all the time, just, you know, ask the salesman at the dealership to kind of show you what's up. But all in all, the whole inside was fabulous. I think the interior of that truck versus the interior of this truck was a huge step up. Huge step up. I mean, I really loved everything about it. I like that the center section moves forward and back with the cup holders and stuff in it. I think that's awesome. To be honest, you know, it seems like it'd be something that's kind of stupid, but I actually really like it. I don't know why, but I love it. So that was cool. You know, again, I love the flat. I love that the back seat floor is flat. I like that the seats actually recline in the back, you know, so when I'm driving with my buddies and we're going on a long trip, you know, going on a guy's trip or something, we'll take my truck and, you know, they can lean back and kind of chill and relax. You know, that's awesome. That is seriously an awesome feature, I will admit. And all in all, the interior was fantastic. I really love the interior. And the exterior, same thing. I love the whole exterior of the truck. You know, I really didn't want to get another black one. I wanted to get, you know, maybe a granite one or some other color, you know, this time around. And I wanted to do the sport package so that I had the painted bumpers and such. But the one I drove was the exact same style as this one. It was a black Pro Coat with the chrome bumpers and the chrome side steps, just like my truck. And I have to admit, I really liked it. As much as I kept selling myself, I'm gonna get a sport package and do the painted bumpers instead of the chrome bumpers and blah blah blah. Because I'm not a huge fan of chrome, like a lot of chrome. But it just worked, and it felt right, like looking at it. So, you know, that was a huge plus for that truck too. But yeah, it just looked great. It looked fantastic. It was inside and out, everything that I could ask for. And at $53,000, I wasn't mad at that. I really wasn't, because I was out the door with this for $50,000. So, you know, I'm out the door with that one. By the time I get the employee price and all the rebates and, well, what little rebates there are, I'm probably $5,000 more out the door with that one than this one. So, but getting a lot more options, standard when I purchase it. You know, many of the options in this truck I installed myself after the fact. So, you know, it was tough. The only thing that grenaded the deal was the fact that we couldn't come to an agreement on the trade-in for my truck. They're gonna sell my truck for like $24,000 on the lot. So they couldn't just eat the profit on this to profit on a new truck. Is basically where it was at. And I just wasn't, I was not cool with that. Like, I just don't care. I'd rather keep my truck than eat $7,500. That's just my personal opinion. Now, a couple just real quick things we're going to talk about now that we've got that out of the way. First off, now that I've said that I did not buy a new Ram, you might be wondering, why did I make a video about what the hell I'm buying now? Well, because I might be buying something. Now, because I didn't get the truck, I decided that, well, maybe instead I'll get something not to replace the truck, but to add to the, I guess, collection, if you want to call it. So I believe I mentioned that in that video, but just so we're clear, it's not a new Ram, it's something else. And I'm still deciding on that. It's going to be a few weeks before we make a firm decision on what I'm doing, because it's extremely difficult to make a decision on which. I got to narrow down to two, and I can't decide on which one I want, and it's very, very difficult right now. on which one I want. But yes, we're going to attempt to at least get in something new, something cool for the channel. Blah, blah, blah. I made a whole another video about it. I'll put the link in the description. Or actually, you know what? I'll put it right there. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about is I am loving everything that McLaren is doing right now. And if you don't know what I'm talking about McLaren Automotive. They just came out with the 600 LT. I believe it's 593 horsepower. It looks awesome. I love that car. And I think they priced it at $230,000, which, you know, that car is going to compete with the Lamborghini Huracan. Okay? You can get a used Huracan at 230 grand. So, you know, the price, the power, the performance, you know, everything that that car has at that price point is just amazing to me. And McLaren's knocking it out of the park every year now, I feel. You know, we got a new 3-seat with the seat in the middle car coming out to, you know, just like the F1 was. That's coming. I cannot wait to see how that is. I still don't like the Senna. Sorry, but it just, I understand it's functional. I'm going to keep saying that every time I mention the Senna. I understand every part of that body is functional. I still absolutely hate the way it looks. I just hate it. There's really not anything on that car that I think looks good. Amazing performance, looks like shit. Sorry. My personal opinion, that's the way it is. I'm not spending that kind of money on that car, regardless of performance, when it looks like that. But again, my personal opinion. But outside of that, you know, the P1 is still probably, arguably, my favorite car right now. The lines on that car just got me from day one, and I never let go. If I had enough money to purchase a major supercar, it would probably be a Koenigsegg Agera RS, not gonna lie. But the P1 is definitely a very, very close second. But P1 would be more logical because it's probably easier to get your hands on a P1 than a Agera RS at this point. Those are just two little quick things I wanted to touch on. But that's effectively going to end today's video. I'm sorry that it is so long. I did want to give a full explanation on why I got the truck, why I didn't get the truck, excuse me, and to let you know that I didn't get the new Ram, not because I didn't like it. Loved it. Absolutely loved everything about it. It's just financially, me and the dealership couldn't come to terms. It's basically, that was the only thing that held me back. And there was no I will say one thing real quick. I could have bought that truck and kept this truck and have two trucks. But that's the problem. It's kind of pointless to have two trucks. So that's why I'm looking at something else that's a car, that's fun to drive, because then that makes more sense. Then I have my truck I can do the work and haul shit with, and then I have my fun little play toy. So that's why it just makes more sense. That's all I'm saying. So don't get me wrong, I didn't buy it because I didn't like it. I didn't buy it because of the finance. We couldn't figure out the financial shit. So if you're stopping in for the first time, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button. And if you think I'm doing the wrong thing by not buying that truck, tell me in the comments below. Or tell me what you think. If you've driven it, if you've been inside it, all that stuff. Leave a comment below so that everybody can see kind of like what your opinion is on the new 19 Ram. And we'll all kind of get a feel of where we're at. So, just like that, guys, I'm out. Deuces.